First highlights are the Texans versus the Lions. Yes, this is the Thanksgiving week, or at least I believe it's supposed to be the Thanksgiving Day game. And of course, Detroit always plays on Thanksgiving. We see Eddie Lacy there with the touchdown early in this game. And here we are, Mark Sanchez throwing it up to Bennett. They get the 14-0 lead here in the 2 minutes of the first half. Sanchez will have thrown 222 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in this game. Spiller with 39 yards. Sanchez rushed for 23. Bennett right there had 87 yards this game. And there we see Ryan Tannehill firing back. The Detroit Lions are the leading team in the NFC North. 65 yards there for Darius Hayward-Bay. A very active 2 minutes here. And there we see the replay there. I know, don't you love the 2 different grays? Yeah, classic. Anyway, then we have Felix Jones rushing it in for a touchdown. He had 59 yards total in this game. Tannehill only had 131 yards. But there he is celebrating the touchdown run. Here, Tannehill back to pass in the third quarter, rolls out, and with his legs, he comes away with the touchdown, tying the game up. So they are celebrating. Here's the replay of Tannehill on the run. And just like that, Detroit's back in it. Houston gets a field goal. Tannehill rolls out, uses his legs again. 3:08 here in the fourth quarter. Can Detroit get a touchdown to take the lead in this game? But right there, Ryan Tannehill gets injured. So that we have Drew Stanton coming into the game. And Drew Stanton hands the ball off to Felix Jones for his second touchdown of the game. There he is celebrating. And it is with that touchdown, the last score of the game. And the Detroit Lions are coming away with a victory here. Yay them on Thanksgiving Day. I do like those Texans jerseys. That's a very unique jersey. So there are some highlights here. Hope you enjoyed some of these. We'll get to some other games coming up. But Ryan Tannehill, he's was just out for that game. He will be back next week. So any Lions or Tannehill fans don't have to sweat too much. And then we'll go ahead and display the box scores here in a moment. And then you can see any of these box scores that interest you. But with that, we'll move on to the next game. Next up, we've got the Raiders taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, this is Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, only 2 Thanksgiving games, which was kind of weird. Because I thought they would have had more games on Thanksgiving, at least 3 normally, but they only have 2. But you can see there a good play to Julio Jones. Yes, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones with the Oakland Raiders, making the connection right there. And then I had some issue with recording the video here, but Vernon Davis gets the touchdown there, as you see. I wish I could have more clips like that from the broadcast camera angle. And there we go, another touchdown pass. This time is to Julio Jones. Julio Jones ended up finishing this game with 222 yards. Matt Ryan with 291 yards passing. And so I guess you can tell who he threw the ball to the most. Davis had 56 yards. Whereas Colt McCoy had 331 yards, and Owusu has 206 yards. Don't know who he is? Well, you're going to find out, because he played a big role in this game. As you see, Oakland was really slinging it around the field. Beautiful play there by Ryan to Julio Jones again. And now we've got a 14-9 lead. And then off his back foot, that was a screen pass play. Instead, I just lob it up to Julio. So that was a successful little trick there. Trick the CPU into thinking I was going to be doing a screen pass. Instead, we just lob it over top. Very nice. Very nice. We got Colt McCoy now. And I mentioned Owusu. And there he is making an insane grab. He was like, I'm trying to remember what pick he was. Might have been a 6th round pick. I have to double check. But he was a late round pick. And he's come through now here in the 4th quarter. We see the 21-26 lead that Oakland has. And Colt McCoy gets a huge touchdown grab there. This was to Allen Robinson, though. 46-yard touchdown pass. Colt McCoy doing what he's got to do to keep the Jaguars atop the AFC South. It's an interesting year. I didn't expect Colt McCoy in his 2nd year with Jacksonville to really be taking them the distance. He was drafted by the Commanders. Then he was he went somewhere else, I think. No, he was Jacksonville. Was the 2nd team. And this is where he was able to get the starting job. But Matt Ryan is not pulling back. And as you can see, Julio Jones making the big catch. That gives him the 28-24 lead. Matt Ryan celebrating right there. I mean, that was a big play, big touchdown pass. Julio leaping up for the ball, catching it with the spin, gets around the defender, and he takes it to the house. I mean, more so just terrible cornerbacking play there by 31. And there we have it. The Jacksonville Jaguars fall here on Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's Patrick Willis. And so, yeah, he's a pretty solid contributor for the Jaguars. Here's some more highlights. Now, Jacksonville falls to 6-5. Oakland rises up to 6-6. They tried to get into the playoffs, but the AFC West has been very competitive for many years. We'll see if they are able to get back into the playoffs and maybe the Super Bowl because they were the defending AFC champions. But it's a few more highlights, and then we'll get to the box scores. I mentioned a few of them already. You can take a deeper dive if you want to learn more about this game and if you are interested in some of the stat holders for how they did. Then we have the battle of the 3-7 teams. The Packers versus the Colts. Kirk Cousins gets a throw there. We see Pierre Garçon. He comes in and gets a good play. And then a touchdown over the middle to Cordarrelle Patterson, their explosive receiver, playmaker in his 2nd season. Cousins only ended up having 126 yards this game. Chris Johnson only 54 on the ground. Garçon was the leading receiver with 60 yards for the Colts. Meanwhile, Brock Osweiler got 277 yards, was much more active. We see Andre Brown, the running back for Green Bay, got 103 yards rushing. And then Randall Cobb, 106 yards receiving. Jordan Cameron, 90 yards receiving. He gets a touchdown right there. So this was a battle of the losers. Green Bay and the Colts just battling themselves out of a chance to get Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota, whoever wins this game. So 17-7, and Osweiler rolls out. The big man, 6'8", throws it down the field, and it's caught there by Randall Cobb. Gets down to the 4-yard line. Big play there. Osweiler not looking as bad. Eli Manning was pretty bad starting out this season. I think it was like 0-5 or 0-4, something like that. And then they switched to Osweiler, the younger quarterback, and he's been doing fairly well. There we see a clip that wasn't recorded, but we got it on the replay. And it was 24-14. Green Bay able to come away with the victory, so good for them. Osweiler, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Cousins, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then they're going to be battling it out for the bottom of the league. 3-8 Colts is not what you'd want. This is Norv Turner's first season as head coach. I have to figure out whether he decides to keep Kirk Cousins or move on from him. Pretty kind of unclear here. I guess the draft order, the Colts will be picking 7. They'd be the 7th overall pick, so not really where they want to be if they're trying to get Mariota or if they're trying to get Winston. Currently, the Commanders hold the number 1 overall pick, so we'll see if that stands. But here are the box scores, if anyone wants to take a look at those. Chargers and the Panthers. Aaron Rodgers throws the ball to Jordan Reed as tight end, and it just pops up. And Pierre Lewis is returning the ball for a touchdown. Nothing stings worse when you're playing all offense than a pick six. But here we are. Yep, Kevin Pierre-Louis making it happen against me, so that's what we're living with. But now the Panthers are really trying to ascend into the playoff picture. They're with John Fox, one of the very few coaches. It's John Fox, Andy Reid, and Bill Belichick are the only coaches that have not been fired or replaced since the beginning of this franchise. And as you can see, you have Jeremy Hill running it in for a touchdown. 114 yards this game for Jeremy Hill. Flacco threw for 193. Aaron Rodgers threw for 308. And Joique Bell ran for 49 yards for the San Diego Chargers because Arian Foster has been injured for a few weeks. But right there, doesn't seem to matter. We got Santonio Holmes getting a big touchdown there. However, it did escalate very quickly. The Panthers getting a 21-0 lead, now a 21-7 lead. But Foster's out for about 2 more weeks or so before he's able to come back. And there we see the Panthers play there. Flacco throwing, touchdown. Good play there. Number 84 is T.Y. Hilton, one of his favorite targets. And then we got Jeremy Hill with the big run, making the Chargers look silly. And he gets that big touchdown going up 28-7. Yeah, this was very clearly a Panthers victory. Chargers need this win too because the Chargers are trying to get into that playoff picture. They are actually 4th in the division because it's the Denver Broncos are 8-4, Chiefs 6-5, Raiders 6-6, and now the Chargers are likely to fall 6-6. They got beautiful plays like that. We see a beautiful touchdown pass from Rodgers to Joique Bell. Good receiving touchdown for him, but likely too little, too late. And here we go. We'll see it again because it was a very beautiful play. Aaron Rodgers just dropping right over the defender into the hands of Joique Bell. And then next up, we have the Panthers who are in striking distance. Flacco back to pass, looking to throw, and he dots it right there to Torrey Smith, his other big-time receiver. Yeah, it was a good addition when I drafted Torrey Smith. Yeah, it was a real-life combination, Flacco and Torrey Smith in Baltimore. So made that connection here in Carolina. And then we got Reed getting the touchdown there. That's his first touchdown of the game. He got about 28 yards this game. Not too impressive. 3 catches, though. Aaron Rodgers finding a way to claw back in this game. But, yep, it's a pretty clear victory for the Panthers, 35-21. Holmes had 198 yards receiving. Holmes, Bell, and Reed all had 1 touchdown apiece. Hilton and Torrey Smith had 2 touchdowns for the Panthers, but of course, Panthers had a pick 6. 2 rushing touchdowns by Jeremy Hill, which also was paired with 114 yards rushing. Very good, very solid performance out of the AFC South competitors. And right now, they are second in the division. The Falcons are 9-2, and the Carolina Panthers are 7-4. So the Saints and Buccaneers are both 4-7. And then here's some Hill highlights because, of course, he was just absolutely brutalizing the Chargers. And here are the box scores, so you can take a look at them if you'd like to dive deeper into this game. Eagles taking on the Tennessee Titans. Now, this is a game that didn't go the way I expected it to. As you can see, Donovan McNabb gets hit, and we have Fletcher Cox who nearly gets a touchdown here. Giovanni Bernard saves a touchdown. And Tavares Jackson hands the ball off to David Wilson. David Wilson gets the touchdown here. Tennessee Titans, the 2-9 Tennessee Titans, score an opening touchdown off of the turnover by the Eagles. Yeah, David Wilson is in his 3rd year. He had 122 rushing yards this game and that 1 touchdown. Jackson back at it again. There he is. Connects with Jermaine Gresham. Gresham only had 1 catch and 5 yards. And you saw it right there for the touchdown. Good roll out there by Jackson. He has been kind of a sneaky journeyman quarterback, finding ways to maintain his starting role. And we see the screen pass there. Gets all the way down to the 1 yard line. And you better believe McNabb is going to hand the ball off to Alfred Morris, who finishes the deal on a 1 yard touchdown run. Bernard had 47 yards rushing. Morris had 1. And you saw that one attempt and 1 yard right there. Gets right through. And then we got Jackson. Jackson back to throw. And he connects with Denarius Moore. We got 26 seconds left here in the first half. Denarius Moore, I remember him. He was drafted by the Raiders in real life. Kind of was an explosive deep threat for a bit, but he didn't really turn out to be a consistent one. It was like a one-season wonder. I remember like fantasy football, people having him on their team, and he was a force to be reckoned with for a while. Then you got Tavares Jackson. Deep throw. Who else but Denarius Moore? He had 50 yards receiving this game, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions, and you saw both of those receptions right there. He is in his 4th season in my franchise. Again, a very modest career for him, nothing too explosive, but he's behind Greg Jennings and Matthew Slater. Anquan Bolden used to be part of the team, but he's kind of bounced around a bit. And so because they were so out of wax there, the Eagles are so bad, we put in Teddy Bridgewater, the backup rookie, to McNabb, and we see him getting his team down to get a score, get a touchdown. But it was a handoff to Bernard. Bernard gets his first touchdown of the game. And like Jackson had 87 yards. Travis Benjamin, 37 yards on that one catch that you just saw. Cole Beasley had 34 yards and a touchdown. Jennings had 53 yards, and Moore had 50 for the Titans. You can see them go for 2 points there, and of course, or a touchdown there, excuse me. And they get the touchdown there. That's that Cole Beasley touchdown I was talking about. So Bridgewater's been looking pretty good this season for a rookie backup. He's got, I think it's 361 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's only played in, I think, 3 games maybe. Because there's one he actually played the majority of the game. McNabb got hurt early. Then he played in week 12. Oh, maybe that was it. Okay. Yeah, he played in week 12. So in 2 games of playing, I may have put him in a game before. But the Titans rise to 3-9. Eagles fall to 9-3. That's great news if you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, because now the Eagles and Cowboys are tied at 9-3. Eagles on a 2-game losing streak, and the Cowboys on a 7-game winning streak. So good for them. Here are some of the box scores for this game. NFC North battle, Bears versus Vikings. Now this is a game where, of course, neither team is having that hot of a season. The Vikings were the closest to be able to sort of try to overcome the Detroit Lions lead here in the North. Bears just very much at the bottom of the league. Right there, I thought there was going to be an open space on the far right of the field that RG3 would have been able to put it, but unfortunately he threw it to the defender, so, those interceptions happen. Yeah, not what I was hoping for there. But anyway, Palmer back to pass, looks, and he throws the ball, and it's caught by Victor Cruz. Yeah, the Bears traded a second-round pick for Carson Palmer, hoping he'd turn their season around after it was very much in play. But unfortunately, they went on quite a long losing streak, which was not really what we wanted to see, which put themselves in good position for Jameis Winston. I suppose they still are. But here they are taking the lead in this game, probably playing themselves out of those sweepstakes. We see Tannen Doss there with the reception. There we see the screen pass, touchdown to Ingram. Yeah, if the Bears win this game, it'll be 2-9 record, and the Vikings will fall to 4-7, which ties the Packers, who I thought were going to be literally packing it in and just giving up this year. But now all of a sudden the Vikings might be below them. Palmer had 228 yards and 2 passing touchdowns this game. RG3 had 142 yards. He's going to get a second touchdown, so spoiler alert. And 3 interceptions, though. RG3 ran for 28 yards, and that was the best the Vikings had because Glenn Coffey had 5 yards rushing on 2 attempts, and Doug Martin had -4 rush yards on 4 attempts, whereas Ingram had 81 yards. So as we see, RG3 is likely going to get that next touchdown right here to Adam Thielen. He had 62 yards in this game. Brandon Cooks had 67 yards in this game. And then Dustin Keller at 64 yards, Tana Doss 47 for Chicago. But yes, Adam Thielen, pretty solid contributor here for the Minnesota Vikings. So good touchdown there. And then we see with 28 seconds to go, Mark Ingram decides to run it right through the middle and in for a touchdown. Bears take the 31-point outing. Good for them. It's 31-14, and that's going to be your final score in this NFC matchup. So this is not good for the Vikings, and they were coming off an MVP performance from RG3 last year, just not able to get the wins this season. Ryan Mallett played a little bit. He threw 4 passes, 1 completion for 8 yards. That's all he could do. And Chicago is now playing themselves out of that bottom pick. I mean, they're now the second overall pick, which could still get Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota. Commanders undecided whether they go with RG3 or whether they go with Winston or Mariota or someone else. They do have Johnny Manziel, but I doubt that's going to last. And so here's the Monday, they're celebrating his interception. But yeah, here are the box scores for those interested in looking deeper in this game. Saints are taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Saints have had a resurgence since Michael Vick came into the game, but unfortunately he fumbles right there. I mean, all the wins this season came from Michael Vick, those 4 wins. And then, or actually maybe it's 3 wins. I think Geno Smith got 1. But Bengals with Derek Carr comes back and they get a touchdown there to Charles Clay. Charles Clay is not that high overall as a tight end, but he has been getting career stats. He's been racking them in. He's 25 years old in his 4th season. I know this year he's already got 620 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. Then we see Michael Vick scrambling around, connects with Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins was their first-round pick. They also drafted Paul Richardson, I believe. Yeah, Paul Richardson. So both of them were options there for broadening that wide receiver room because they really needed some weapons. Here we go. Derek Carr looking to throwing it across the field. Louis Murphy gets the grab. Its score is 10-10. And then another pass to Clay. And Clay takes it all the way. Big score there. Good for him. 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for Derek Carr this game. Michael Vick with 2 touchdowns, 191 yards. Isaiah Pead, the running back for the Saints, gets 71 yards. Kevin Smith, 30 yards rushing. Here we go. We see, I think this is the 3rd touchdown. Yep, Devontae Freeman getting the touchdown. Clay had 140 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, as you witnessed. Louis Murphy, 77 yards. Deion Butler, the man led the New Orleans Saints. Deion Butler used to be with the Atlanta Falcons, and you're going to see why he was so explosive. Right here we see Michael Vick dropping back to pass, roll out, so quick, lobs it up. Deion Butler gets the grab. Peyton Manning's favorite receiving option before he left. And I gotta say, when I play the Falcons and I'm playing with Peyton Manning, I do miss Deion Butler being that 3rd, 4th string receiver, that sort of slot guy that can just burn you. He has such great speed. But in this game, the Bengals come away with the win, and because they won this game, they are leading the AFC North. It's by like a half game there, or by a game there, because we'll see the Steeler game coming up. But the Bengals have had a resurgence on this team. They drafted Jadeveon Clowney with their number 1 overall pick. They got Carr with their 2nd round pick, the 1st pick in the 2nd round. Really good decision by the Bengals to really build up this team. They also had Devontae Freeman, I think it was the 3rd round pick. So they got their linebacker, quarterback, running back, fixing everything. Tight end they traded for 65 overall, making things happen. Here's the box scores. You can take a deeper look now if you'd like. The Browns hosting the Denver Broncos. Sam Bradford lobs it up, and it's A.J. Green making the big play. Yep, that's been pretty much A.J.'s career. That's probably what has saved Sam Bradford's career, is having A.J. Green. Bradford made the playoffs a couple times already in his career, much different than his real life career. We all blame the St. Louis Rams, and probably rightfully so. But here in Denver, we've got the rushing touchdown by Ahmad Bradshaw, who is one of the top running backs in the league based on his overall. So here we go. We're going to see that play once again. And Bradford rolls out, throws, hit, and he delivers the ball to A.J. Green. A.J. Green does get 200 yards this game. Just absolutely embarrassing the Browns. The Browns did lose Terrell Pryor to an injury during this game, so Josh Johnson came in to relieve and try to finish the game out. But let's just say it didn't matter if it was Terrell Pryor or Josh Johnson. It was just pretty bad. You see the interception there where I thought he was behind the defender for a long pass, but Johnson was not able to deliver it where I thought he would. Didn't throw it deep enough. Because right there you see Dwayne Allen. All he had to do was just throw it over the defender. He beat the defender. He just underthrew it. Bradford in the third quarter looking to throw, and who else but A.J. Green. 8 receptions, 200 yards. He's already got 1,200 yards in the season. There's 10 touchdowns right there, as you see on the screen. Now, Bradshaw only had 48 yards this game, but he still was pretty dominant. I mean, Cleveland has yet to score. And there we see Bradford tossing it up for A.J. Green's second touchdown of the game. Bradford with 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Browns' best receiver had 55 yards. That was Johnny Knox. Allen had 41. That's Dwayne Allen, the tight end. Tim Hightower, the running back, had 34 yards rushing. And then Charles Johnson got 31 yards. They do have Andre Johnson on the Browns, but he's been injured. So 28-0. What a Cleveland way to lose this game. Not even putting up a fight at all. Well, we'll see if the 4-7 Browns can find a way to not embarrass themselves in the future. The Denver Broncos ascend to 8-4. So they are atop the AFC West, 2 games ahead of the Chiefs, and about 2.5 games ahead of the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers. So Browns browsing it up, as we all expect them to. Denver doing a great job right now owning the AFC West. I don't know what it is about this Denver team. They don't look or feel that good, but they come away with wins as any team is supposed to. So here is the box scores for our deeper dive. Steelers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Dallas has been having a fantastic season so far. A really dumb play on my part, but he did get that interception. That's Dante Whitner, the best safety in the league, and he has been the best safety since being drafted. He just shot up, and he's been that anchor for Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh never went with Troy Polamalu. That was the Seattle Seahawks who were able to pick him up. The Steelers drafted Terrence Newman, the cornerback, because they had a higher draft pick. But Whitner has not disappointed. So here they are, Pittsburgh, trying to fight their way back this season because they're 5-5. The Bengals are 1 game ahead of them, which is not ideal because, of course, Pittsburgh wants to get into the playoff picture again. So they have some work to do. Here they are. Roethlisberger connects for a touchdown there to Michael Floyd. Good touchdown there for them. Yeah, Michael Floyd had 72 yards this game. Jared Cook had 97. Lamar Miller rushed for only 24 yards. Hardesty, 14 yards. Yeah, Montario Hardesty was in real life drafted by the Browns. In my franchise, drafted by the Bengals. As we see a great run there by Russell Wilson, making it happen with his leg. 36 yards. But I'm going to talk about Hardesty. So in this franchise, Hardesty was signed by the Steelers and then moved to fullback, and right now he's leading in the voting for Pro Bowl. So that's an interesting development for Pittsburgh and Montario Hardesty's career. I mentioned Jared Cook had 97 yards this game, and that's a touchdown for him. A big throw there. Almost looked like it kind of was a glitchy catch, but of course the Steelers will take it. There we see it again. Over two guys. You kind of see how it kind of catches it in his face. And then we have Wilson back to pass, and there he goes again. 36 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Dallas making it happen, coming back in this game. Yeah, they started off with an interception to Whitner, and they're now coming back, making this game competitive once again. Yeah, I think Dallas is one of the best teams to really develop over the years. Mike Shanahan did a good job there. And there we see another touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys. Nice little passing touchdown. 278 yards for the Dallas Cowboys. Wilson had the 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Adrian Peterson there with 46 yards. He gets a touchdown there. Larry Fitzgerald, the big free agent signing, one of many for the Dallas Cowboys, gets 100 yards in this game. Jason Witten, 72. Kendall Wright, 70 yards. And here Roethlisberger connects over the middle to Allen. Good play there. Yeah, normally Pittsburgh has those 5'10", 5'11", speedy wide receivers. You know, the Emmanuel Sanders, the Antonio Browns. But in this franchise, they've got the big receivers, almost like the Chargers. So you have the Keenan Allen, you've got Michael Floyd. They did have Emmanuel Sanders, technically. And so we missed that last touchdown there, but they do get another one for the Dallas Cowboys. So here's a few other highlights as we wrap up this game. Pittsburgh falls 5-6 on the year. Dallas moves up to 9-3, getting them more competitive with the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East. And so they received a nice little touchdown pass there by Roethlisberger. And the Bengals, they're making it happen. They're turning this franchise around. So Pittsburgh's got to try to keep up. I think after the end of this week, they are 10th seed. They're the 10th seed in the AFC. And so here we'll go to some of the box scores if you're interested. Miami taking on the Buffalo Bills. Here we go. Newton rolling around. He is so fast, so agile, getting around defenders and just throwing it to his main man, Calvin Johnson Jr. I know, how dare I put the two of them on the same team. And actually I did not. I did have a lot of teams going for Calvin Johnson Jr. He did choose to go to Miami. For those of you who do not know how I do free agency, it's normally, if they're a bad player or I'm just trying to fill a roster, I may only have one team go for the player. But if they're a top talent like Calvin Johnson or like when Peyton Manning was a free agent, I normally have at least 2, if not many teams placing a bid in the same tier or the same, like you have the green, yellow, red interest level. So I try to have them all in the same bar, like they're 5 or 4. And I try to let the player choose. And that's why I like free agency a little bit more than trades, because trades oftentimes I'm trying to be either too balanced or I'm trying not to ruin the flow of what would be realistic. Even though sometimes teams make terrible trades. As a Browns fan, that Watson trade was a pretty bad one. But there we go. And as you see, Calvin Johnson Jr. making it happen again. So sometimes free agents just work out that way. But Calvin Johnson did join the team right after they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the 49ers. So Johnson wanted to go chase some rings with Cam Newton. And they haven't been to the Super Bowl since, but they are having a fantastic season. 10-1 here. Looking like they're going to move to 11-1. So we'll see if EJ Manuel, who is playing like he did in real life, he's not terrible, but he didn't, not doing too great. He ended up having 171 yards, touchdown, and that interception. Carlos Hyde, the running back from Ohio State in rookie year, got 55 yards. D'Angelo Williams with 53. Meanwhile, Newton will end up finishing with 345 yards passing. So crazy good for him. He's going to also rack up some touchdowns in this game as well. And there we go, another big throw to Calvin Johnson Jr. I know I'm kind of cheesing it, but it's also, I play these games to win. I want to make sure each team has the best chance to win, no matter what their record is, no matter if I like the team or not. I've had many upsets and things like that, so I always try to make sure I put the best foot forward for each team. So when you have a talent like Calvin Johnson, you do it. Leftwich does come into the game for Buffalo, and he is able to connect with Jacoby Jones. Leftwich had 126 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in this game. Newton does have 4 touchdown passes. Forte has 44 yards, but Calvin Johnson Jr. did finish with 192 yards. It was A.J. Jenkins with 102 yards. So good game for Miami. Kobe Fleener had 129 yards for Buffalo. But yeah, the Buffalo Bills are looking to be back into a rebuild, or maybe they're going to have a firing of head coach Rex Ryan. They're probably going to go in a different direction. I don't see how he's going to be able to salvage this season. His division is very tough. I mean, the Dolphins and the Jets are at the top of the division, and then you got the Patriots, who are also a good team in that division. They're all over 500. 11-1 for the Dolphins, Jets 7-4, Patriots 6-5, Buffalo Bills falling 3-8. So here are the box scores for this game. Buccaneers are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. There we see a connection there to Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon having a fantastic season here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's a 86 overall because he's been progressing very well. He's had some strong seasons. I know last year he had only, 753 yards. He did have some suspensions to deal with. Next season's the one where he's suspended all year. So we'll see how Tampa Bay does without their top receiver. But Kyle Rudolph comes back with a touchdown there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Good for him. Yes, Blake Bortles is actually doing a great job this season as the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. They were a very bad team. They're the 3rd overall pick. But since drafting him, they are 5-5, trying to get their 6th win of the year. Brian Hartline connects. There they are, going to celebrate a little bit. This game, Blake Bortles had 222 yards. Trent Richardson ran for 89 yards. Brian Hartline ended up having 101 yards this game. Blaine Gabbert, on the other hand, here he is coming back before the end of the first half. And we see a beautiful touchdown pass there to Jerome Simpson. He had 291 yards. Jerome Simpson ended up having only 25 yards. And that was that one touchdown you see right there. Darren McFadden, who's been a fantastic running back, probably one of the all-time greats of this era. He only had 54 yards this game. Normally he's been like a league leader, But there we see Charles breaking tackles all the way down there. Had to keep that highlight in there because Orson Charles, he's in his 3rd season. 67 overall, 23-year-old, just making it happen and setting up that touchdown run by Darren McFadden. Tampa Bay had some good years. This year they are 4-6. We'll see if they're able to go up and get 5 wins here. But the Buccaneers doing the best they can to stay relevant. But this season, this could be Ron Rivera's last season unless they can turn things around. So there we see LeGarrette Blount getting a 1-yard touchdown run on the goal line. I wish his body looked more like LeGarrette Blount's body in real life, where he was more of a bruiser, power back. What I don't like about Madden 20 and 25 and these recent ones is that they've got like their player body styles as opposed to just, if you're a big dude, you're a big dude and you look big. If you're a skinny, scrawny guy, you should look like a skinny, scrawny guy. You know what I mean? But anyway, we deal with what we have. So Kansas City takes the lead here with that run by Trent Richardson. As I mentioned, 89 yards, 1 touchdown. Gabbert trying to get his team a score, and he throws it up and caught. Touchdown, Martavius Bryant. He had 31 catch for 34 yards and a touchdown, as you saw right there. So, big play there. And with that touchdown, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go for 2 points. They do fail it. I didn't have the clip for that. But the failure to convert leads to a loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs under new coach Raheem Morris. And yes, he's got quite the rack. I don't know why that's why that's his body type, but that's just what we were able to generate here. It is what it is. That's when we get those mods. You never know what you're going to get. So Raheem Morris, 10 out of 10. So we were looking at the Chiefs getting a win, ascending a little bit better in their division. There's a few more highlights there. And then we'll get to the box scores. But Kansas City is the second place in the division. Here are the scores for those interested in seeing the box scores. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, Bruce Gradkowski is the quarterback due to the injured Drew Brees. He makes a nice connection down the field to his tight end, Brent Selleck. So good play there. We'll see a little replay. Selleck had 2 catches and 42 yards this game, so nothing too dynamic, but whenever there's a replay like that, I try to capture it. And then Gradkowski continuing the drive. We see a run by Dion Lewis. He only ran two times, 12 yards, and 1 touchdown run, as you saw right there. Yes, the 49ers are at the very bottom of the league. We will see if they end up drafting a quarterback. Maybe they could try to make a move for Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota. Or if they stick with the old man Breeze, but with that injury, it's less likely. Then we see Brandon Pettigrew with the Seattle Seahawks bouncing back. Again, Seattle is doing pretty well this year. They really got revamped when they added Matthew Stafford, so that's pretty cool. And so, yep, there we go. Another great play. Stafford rolling around, throws up, and is caught by Mike Evans. And he is off to the races. Unfortunately, could not get a touchdown there. But that's to say he has 2 receptions, 76 yards. That is what he finishes the game with, so not any other catches. But good play there. And when you draft Mike Evans and Devontae Adams in the same draft, you know it's going to be a long and prosperous Seattle. And so here we go. Stafford running on 3rd and 23. Gets a big chunk of yards to the 5-yard line. Stafford hands the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, who powers his way through defenders to get a touchdown. Lynch ran for 13 attempts and 74 yards in this game. 1 touchdown, as you saw right there. Stafford threw 223 yards. And then we had Gradkowski threw for 253. So not doing terrible as the backup quarterback, filling in for the injured Breeze. And there we see a beautiful pass there to Jordan Matthews, the rookie. I don't know why he has dreadlocks. He does not have dreadlocks in real life, but it is what it is. He grew it out for his professional season. We'll see if that sticks. And so we finish with 17-20. Good try there by Gradkowski. Breeze is injured for about 4 more weeks. I don't know if I decide to put the second-year man, Brad Sorensen, who's like a 54 overall rookie last year, in to give him some playing time, or if I keep Bruce Gradkowski, who is 31 years old in his 9th season. I'll probably stick with Bruce for most of it, but maybe week 17 or 18, we might go ahead and just put the young guy in. We'll see where they stand. I guess Gradkowski was trying to get them a few wins. I don't know whether we'll go back to Breeze or not. But yeah, if you want to see the box scores, they are coming up right now, and you can pause the screen if you want to examine it further. The Washington Commanders go to the St. Louis Rams. Now, the Rams have been fantastic this year. They are 10-1. They are technically the second seed. However, they are pretty close to first. Johnny Manziel throws a strike to Travis Kelce. And so we start off with a touchdown here. Manziel has had a pretty decent season despite not winning a game. He is not really... Again, I don't see him staying in the league very long. But he was the pick for the Commanders, so we'll see how that pans out. Luck gets a touchdown pass there to Toby Gerhart. So a good play there. Gerhart's been a pretty solid contributor for the Rams. You know, he's a fullback. He's been kind of a good dual running back, receiving option. And there we see Ladarius Green getting the catch over the middle. Touchdown for the Washington Commanders. Good play there. Manziel back to pass. Rolls out, hit, and he fumbles the ball. And Robert Quinn comes down on it. That's the kind of things we expect from Manziel. He's a 59 overall quarterback. And here we are, 16 seconds to go. Andrew Luck rolls out, throws it, touchdown. Rams get the go-ahead score. Good timing on their part. So Michael Crabtree there making the reception. So here we are, Andrew Luck looking to throw the ball in the third quarter. Connects. So a good play there. So Michael LaShore, he's been kind of the lead running back since the injury to Ben Tate. He's out for about 4 weeks. So then, I don't know if it's Michael or Mikel LaShore, Zach Stacy, Jamie Harper, and then the fullback Toby Gerhart has been getting in the action as a running fullback. Only got 44 yards this season, but 2 touchdowns. Now, Trent Edwards is in the game, and that's largely because Johnny Manziel did get injured, and he got injured where he... Let's see, what is his injury? Let's see if I can remember what that is. I think it's like a broken foot or something like that. So he's out for 7 weeks, which means he's going to be placed on injured reserve because we're not going into the playoffs, with a 1-9 record, and make that a 1-10 record. So the Washington Commanders fall to the St. Louis Rams. Rams go 10-1. Commanders 1-10. So reverse records right there. Manziel is out for the rest of the year. We'll see how his future ends up. My expectations for him is very low. I don't know if likely Marty Morningway, who's the head coach of the Commanders, will likely be fired after this terrible performance. That could mean the Commanders could draft Jameis Winston to replace him with a new head coach. I'll have to see if I want to play like Johnny Manziel as he really was, where he was the partier, never really focused and game planned, or if the new coach is brought in to try to resurrect his career. But anyway, here are the box scores, and then here is the injury for Johnny Manziel. Monday Night Football features the New York Giants and the Baltimore Ravens. Neither team having that great of a year. Ravens having a worse off year. But we see a good catch there by Dwayne Bowe. Gets the first down on that rollout by Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, I haven't decided whether Colin Kaepernick does the whole kneeling thing and kind of gets himself out of the league because of that. Or, because the problem is he's not that great of a quarterback in this franchise. So it's not like him doing that would have garnered that much media attention since he didn't go to a Super Bowl yet. He's kind of been the mediocre quarterback that has split playing time on the Ravens since his start to his career. He's in his 4th season, so we'll see. But anyway, good touchdown pass there by Kaepernick. And then the run there by Bush. It's Michael Bush. Yeah, there's several teams in this league who have like a standard power back that is now a fullback in like the more updated Maddens, and Michael Bush is one of them. But touchdown pass there to Avery. Avery had 84 yards in this game. Bo had 97 yards in this game. Tight end Austin Safarian Jenkins had, who was a rookie, he had 32 yards. Kaepernick had like 213 yards this game. Matt Barkley had 298. We see the rushing touchdown there by Ryan Matthews, who is one of the top running backs in the league. And there's a touchdown to Austin Safarian Jenkins. Good touchdown there. So there we see the replay. And then the Giants, they're just kind of second tier. I mean, right now they've been trying to sort of get back to when they were that back-to-back Super Bowl appearance Giants. They are third in the NFC East behind Philadelphia and Dallas. The Eagles, of course, have been dominant their entire time. The Cowboys are on the rise with Wilson, Peterson, all their different weapons. Larry Fitzgerald really helped elevate them. But the 24-21 lead is now gone. The Ravens, they are able to score and take the lead. We see Donald Brown getting the rushing touchdown for the Ravens. Yes, this was the season where Ray Rice like beat up somebody in an elevator. So obviously, he's not on the team anymore because he had the 2-game suspension and they cut him. And here we see Matt Barkley getting a big, powerful run there. And so here he is. There's Ziggy Ansah. There's Mayo, I believe, on that Ravens defense. And the Ravens, they are 3-8, and they're behind the Bengals, who are 6-5. Steelers are 5-6. Browns 4-7. And there, Barkley on 4th and 21 makes a huge play all the way to Jimmy Graham, which gets them into field goal range. I mean, that was quite the throw. And then we have Janikowski kicking the game-winning field goal on Monday Night Football. The Giants come away with the win. They move up to 5-6 this year. And we have the Ravens falling 3-9. So not the ideal season for them, but that's going to wrap up our highlights for the Week 12 matchups. We'll be pretty close to getting Week 13 update coming out shortly. But yeah, just trying to give you some experience here watching these games. It's always exciting to see what's coming up. So we'll have the box scores coming up shortly. I might do the whole breakdown for Week 13 separate from... I don't need to do a whole recap because I think this video is going to be long enough with all these highlights. But thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you like to see this journey that's being taken. And like the video if you like this content and enjoy this experience. So hope to see you in the next video.